Hello, hello. What's up, everyone? I hope you're all doing well as usual. So, um, is anyone in the live chat to let me know if the stream is on and doing well? And if so, could you let me know? I hope you're all doing well, as I just said. And so, where's the live chat? I forgot, man. Okay. So I guess no live chat today, that's not a problem. We'll get right into it and we'll start with a recap of Bitcoin. Oh, hello Jean-Pierre. I hope you're doing well. It's very nice to see you. Everything is fine. Okay, that's perfect. Thanks for letting me know. So as usual, what we'll do is just dive into what happened to Bitcoin. Of course, that was a pretty nice move. I did call one pretty nice low and didn't take it because, well, you make mistakes sometimes, and that's part of trading. All you have to do is journalize and move on. But overall, a pretty aggressive move. Didn't take any shorts, but I couldn't really catch my long position. Let's dive into what happened. So not much honestly inside the Discord, right? I mean, I really didn't spam a lot because, well, I was pretty clear on my levels. Where was the support that I sent? It was on FOMC. So right there, this was the support. So at first, of course, I wanted to see the drop right there into the support to see a move into $98,000 and then reversal to the downside. So we did drop into my support. At this point, Powell was speaking, so I was kind of interested in longing the drop. I was watching support, but then I got front Sean. FOMC was done. I did believe that volume would die off a bit, so I just walked off the charts. And unfortunately, in the end, price came back down right into my support level. Beautiful reaction. Again, I didn't take the trade. I don't have any excuse. That's just a mistake. And well, yeah, I did a mistake. And price offered a very nice bounce. We broke right through resistance, and then when I woke up, I said that I wasn't taking any short position because everything was looking very bullish. So in the end, that's pretty much what happened. I did take another long actually on Monday after our Sunday live because I did want to see a bounce at the start of the week. So this was the prediction made in last Sunday's live. So I wanted to see the bounce. So I waited for a trigger, which was this 30-minute imbalance. We also had 2 hourly imbalances. As you can see right there, it was these 2 hourly imbalances. This one turned into a loss, very small one, but still a small loss. And in the end, I really didn't expect a swing failure pattern, which is why, even though I saw this imbalance, I believe that this trade was too easy. Didn't take it again. I don't mind this one because this wasn't my plan. But then the second support that I missed, which was this one, again, offered a beautiful bounce. Well, this was, of course, a much bigger mistake on my part. So that was mainly it for me on Bitcoin, right? One trade that I missed, I wouldn't count this one because again, that was not my plan. I didn't expect it, but right there, it was a very obvious support. If anyone has questions on what was the logic behind it, well, it's very simple. It was around the midpoint of this 4-hour candle. So this 4-hour imbalance. And for altcoins, actually, XRP, two Sundays ago, I did share just one support level, which was, well, it's not a surprise. It was a daily imbalance again. So not the previous lives, but two Sundays ago, I shared this level. We dropped into it with an imbalance. So that was a very nice reaction. But I didn't take the long because again, this week I don't know. I was a bit confused and I thought that Bitcoin was a bit too overextended, which put me on edge. In the end, of course, I mean, I didn't lose money, but still, it's pretty annoying when you just outline one level and you don't take the trade because you're on edge. But, again, it happens. That's trading. There's not much I can do about it except move on and find new setups. For injective, this one I just got front Sean, and wow, what a run we had on that coin. This was the support outlined in the last live stream. So just below 8.7, we bottomed at 8.85 pretty much. And while this one just kept on running and pumped 52%, which is absolutely insane. Woo, this one didn't really respect my support level. So again, I didn't trade this one, but in the end, it did end up bouncing. Even though on the higher time frames, this looked decent. I mean, the wicks were too big. I just didn't like it. Volume is a bit low on that coin, as you can see by these small gaps that you have. So wasn't an ideal trade to for me to take. So this week, pretty much for me again, I missed XRP and I missed my long on Bitcoin, which was down there. So with all of that said, if you're also sitting on the sidelines, or maybe if you're not and just looking for any new setups, what can you look for next? And well, that's what we'll talk about. So the first thing that I want to do is go over the Elliott wave pretty quickly, because I do believe that we have a bit of a convergence at the moment, which is between the bullish and the bearish count. So for the bearish count, and no, I'm not bearish, but I just have to make you aware of that count. It is still possible that this was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all of this is still a wave 2, which is playing out in a regular flat. Okay, so this is very possible. I'm not saying that I was bullish, but just as down there I told you to focus on long positions, right here I don't want to tell you to focus on long positions, because that's not the time to be bullish. That was the time to be bullish. I got my long position at $84,000, not down there. You know why, because you know why for the members inside the Discord. But again, I told you down there to focus on longs. I cut my long up here, and I don't want to tell you to look for longs up here and to FOMO. I just don't think it's smart. Okay, so I want to make you aware of the bearish count, which would be that this is playing out in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this wave 2 is a regular flat. For context, I don't believe that we'll get an expanded flat, which would mean that this would take the all-time high and come back down. I think that's very unlikely. If Bitcoin does want to reverse, I would expect a regular flat, which would mean that we top out somewhere over here. For example, this was your wave A, this is your wave B, and then you would go down in a wave C. Okay, that's possible. I'm not bearish. I'm making you aware because you have to be cautious and not FOMO in at the highs. So that's for the bearish count, which means that it could end soon. And the bullish count, which is also important to note, we have two options in my opinion. So the first one would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means that price will drop back in wave 2 before going higher. I don't think that's super likely, simply because this drop would be a big gift for so many people, because so many are on the sidelines right now. So I don't think this happens for that very simple psychological reason. It can still happen, but the more likely count in my opinion would be somewhat of an extension. I've seen some people count this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I don't agree with this for multiple reasons, but that's not important. I do believe that we could get something like a 1, 2. That's wait, what was my count? So 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh yeah, so it would be a 1, 2 into a 1, 2, and that would be 3, 4, 5, and then you'd have another 4 and another 5. So something like this, in my opinion, is a bit more logical, psychologically speaking, market structure speaking. I think that makes a bit more sense. So when I cover these two counts, okay, the bullish count and the bearish count, you can see that we have a bit of a convergence, meaning we can expect a correction soon. I haven't opened a short position. I'll explain why in just a bit. But again, when you cover the bullish and the bearish count, it does point to the fact that we might get at least a small correction before we continue higher, or maybe, which is of course less likely, we get a much bigger wave 2 for a move lower in the charts. Okay, so with that said, let's outline the levels to put everything into place. So as you can see, I already have one resistance right there. So what's this one? Well, it's a 4-hour resistance, and the reason for that is because, well, I don't have a daily imbalance and I don't have a 12-hour imbalance. So all I can do is go on the 4-hour next. We have an imbalance right there, and we also have this order block. So that's why this resistance is pretty important to me. As you can see, price has already hit into it, once offered a big rejection, now twice offered a second rejection. But personally, I would love to see one more move up, so maybe something like this, and then a rejection. Probably tomorrow I could look for a short position if you get that move up and you get nice imbalances, a good rejection. I think that this could offer a decent day trade for short position at first that could turn into a swing trade. So to the upside, that's the one level I'm focused on. Again, it's a 4-hour imbalance and order block. On top of that, on the daily, we did have a value area high, I believe. It's a bit lower, so maybe it was this one that I looked at. Yes, so we have a value area high right there, which is why this level is going to be pretty important. Okay, so I would give it up to, let's say, $105,500. This will be the top of this area to look for shorts. If you break above it, of course, I just don't see any more resistance levels, but that's already a first resistance that could offer a rejection. So with that said, what support levels do we have below us? Well, at this point, I'm just interested in two very simple levels. The first one would be, and this goes in line with the Elliott wave, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, that wouldn't work, so maybe an extension 1, 2, 1, 2. Doesn't really matter, but we have this daily imbalance, okay? I think this could offer a very nice fill, turn the remaining bears extremely bearish, right? So even more bearish, make them open short positions down there. I'm still seeing a lot of people calling for new lows. So maybe get this drop, a sharp drop, fill the daily, get a lot of shorts down there, and then reverse to the upside. So something like this would be my first setup for Bitcoin. Okay, so it would be pump into resistance first, drop, fill the daily imbalance at $97,000, and then reverse to the upside. I believe that this setup would be extremely nice. It's a small enough retracement, right, to not get everyone that's FOMOing in, and also a lot of people are longing at this high, so that would liquidate them, and also it would keep the remaining bears opening short positions to squeeze higher. The second setup would be, of course, very simply, at least to me, if you use that level, I would look for the fill of the second daily imbalance, which comes in at $97,500, which could also offer a bounce to the upside. And that would go in line with the count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would be your wave 2. So that's mainly what I'm looking for on Bitcoin. Okay, so that would be a retracement into two support levels. The first one, I will have to say, is much more interesting, $97,000, because again, it's not too big of a retracement, but it's a very nice one in my opinion, $97,000, and then send it higher to new all-time highs. On the other hand, of course, let's say that we do indeed get that short position tomorrow, or maybe on Tuesday, it doesn't matter, and then price drops and you don't have a reaction there, then this short position could turn into a much bigger swing trade that you hold for longer. Okay, so that would be the logic behind these scenarios on Bitcoin. Pretty simple overall. Of course, I mean, you should be looking for higher. I think that's pretty obvious in itself, but again, I will never tell you to focus on long positions up here. You have to wait for your retracement. At least that's what I'm doing. I can tell you, every time you do this, well, it plays out. I gave you one support, we got the retracement, so if you were patient, that offered an extremely nice long position, okay? So all you have to do is be patient. Even if we do pump straight up, again, I will remain patient and not FOMO into any long positions. Okay, so that's it for Bitcoin. On altcoins, we don't have much simply because we've pumped so much. I just have one altcoin that looks decent, right? We have a support level that's close. Ethereum first has pumped a lot. We had the support down there, which never got reached, so I can remove it now. But again, the logic right there was pretty much the midpoint of this 12-hour. Unfortunately, it never got reached, but that would have offered a very nice long position. And what have I been telling you multiple times on Ethereum? In my opinion, we would come up to tap the quarterly pivot, 2,285, and as you can see, this target was reached. So in the end, good target on Ethereum was reached pretty easily. unfortunate that this support level got front run, especially that we had a couple of big wicks. Again, not a problem, but happens. Nice pump on Ethereum. Do I see any support levels? For now, I don't know. I think if anyone does want to trade Ethereum, I'll update you throughout the week. Maybe we have this one. Let me see quickly. 12 hour. So you know what? This one does look decent on Ethereum. Yeah, actually, I really like this. So let's already mark out an area on Ethereum. That would be right there. That would be an interesting support level. So around $2,210. I'm gonna put an alert right there and see if this can get reached. Okay, so where is it? Drop into it and then reverse to the upside. That would be very nice. Okay, so for now, the only altcoin that I'm looking at, I was looking at Kaito. This move happened at 7 a.m. I'm done with these with these moves. They always happen while I'm asleep. But again, very simple. You have an imbalance, you take the open of this candle. If you lose it, you probably test the top of this 12-hour imbalance as well, which was in confluence with liquidity. So pretty much I had two scenarios: take the open and pump, which happened. And then lower, we had that liquidity to take if we lost that level. So maybe something like this at pumped. So you can see that altcoins still offer nice trades. Okay, so this was going sideways while Bitcoin was pumping massively. So if anyone was feeling FOMO and just like entering random long positions, they probably missed this one. Pengu, I'm looking at this one next. Okay, I have a first support level which is coming in very soon, 0.01311. Looks very strong. The only problem is that we have hit the quarterly pivot. So do I have any target to the upside left? Of course, I could look for that high next, but that's already a major target that has been hit, the quarterly pivot. But again, this looks very strong, so I will keep an eye on this for support. If we lose it, I will simply look for a drop lower. So I will put an alert right there below that low. Pengu again, very simple level. You drop, you see the reaction. I will send you what I'm doing inside the Discord if I take a long position or not. So that's mainly it. Injective, unfortunately, again, it pumped without me, so not much to do right there. XRP, well, hit that level beautifully and pumped super nicely. I don't know about XRP right now. I think Ethereum has a more obvious support level right there. This one looks very nice. So I don't know if I want to look at any other big altcoins. Solana, what's happening on Solana? Again, massive bounce off of our support. I don't know. Maybe we could get this on Solana. That's a bit ambitious in my opinion, but if you get it, I'll take a look at Solana. So I would just be interested in this level. Do we get it? I don't think so. But again, I'll just wait for it. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's trading. So that's it. If you guys have any altcoins request, that was it for me. And if you don't, well, let's see. So, do you see resistance for ETH for possible short? Well, honestly, I wouldn't look to short altcoins right now. Okay, the only short that I see is on Bitcoin, and even then, I'm not too keen on taking it, except if we get a very nice reaction. Ethereum, do we have any resistance? Let's see. Well, logically, this should be next for Ethereum. I know that this is not an imbalance. Let me see if it's a 12-hour maybe. Do we have a 12-hour? We don't. Do we have a 4-hour at least? We don't. Do we have this one? I don't know. Maybe for Ethereum, I would mark out this daily order block. That would be a bit of a, not a big area, but something like this on Ethereum above. Okay. So towards 2,770 to 2,820. That would be it for for Ethereum to the upside. But again, I don't know if I'm interested in shorting altcoins. I think Bitcoin has a more obvious resistance and is easier to short. So I prefer maybe to long altcoins and then short Bitcoin, something like that. Okay. DGB. What happened to DGB? I don't think my alert got triggered on this. So it's not there, should be there. Where is it, DGB? You can see I've been looking for a lot of altcoins that's DGB. Ooh. So he got the fake out below the triangle. Didn't fail the daily and the 12-hour, unfortunately. Yeah, that's... I mean, look, I won't say that this was a long that I would have taken, but look what he had there. We had another imbalance. So technically you had another support. Again, I'm not saying that I would have taken it. I'm just showing you. You can see a partially filled imbalance. You come down into it and you bounce. Again, I was not looking at this in any case, shape or form, but I'm just showing you that, you know, imbalances are still very accurate on altcoins, as I've just shown you on XRP and many other coins. So overall, the idea was right on the AGB. I mean, it was the fake out below the triangle to then see the pump. Unfortunately, the big support did not get reached. So do you want a new support level for this? Okay, that would be first. Let's see at the daily. Nah, I don't love it. I don't love it. So what would be next on the AGB? I don't know. Okay, so we have a first level. I can remove this for now. And look at the volume profile. Okay, you have the value area high right there. How about from this low? Not much confluence there. You know what? That would be a first level. I don't mind it at all. 0.00992. I mean, that was the right setup. I'm not saying against this imbalance. You know, a drop to there would have been so nice for the fake out below that triangle. I mean, it played out. You can see that the logic behind the trade was pretty nice, but just couldn't get a bigger drop, unfortunately. So yeah, first I would probably expect the fill of this 12 hour. It's a bit high. You have a nice wick, a big rejection. So 0.00992 is a good first level. Look, if we reach it and we lose it, you can just send me a message on Discord and I'll look for the next level. You can see we have another one right there, a partially filled 4 hour with nice liquidity. So that could be your next level. So I would say probably look for 2 levels on the AGB, okay? Again, if you need more help inside the Discord, just message me during the week and I will help you out. For the stock market, by the way, very quickly, I still hold my stance that I had last week. You know, this doesn't look as bullish as Bitcoin. This looks like a 3-wave move. So maybe this week we got a bit more consolidation, a move up and then a reversal lower. Yeah, I think I like this for the stock market. Doesn't look super bullish. That's all I have to say. Bitcoin looks much better. So back to Bitcoin. Do we have any more questions? Bangu, let's do quickly. You know, would be nice to open a long position live on stream. Big wicks. Come on. One more drop. So I think that would be it, guys. Okay. Do we have any more questions? Hi, can you check ENA? Of course. This I remember this one. So ENA, we did check it in the past. Again, I'm not lying. You can check our live stream. I gave you one support, which, well, offered a massive long position if anyone followed it. That was a pretty easy support. A liquidity grab. I didn't like this imbalance, so I marked out this low, offered a massive trade. So they, no, that's in ENA. What do we have on ENA? We have this. We have this. Let's go on the 12 hour. I think I like this one a bit more. No? 1 hour. So that would probably be my first level of interest on ENA. If you can take that low and somewhat maintain a higher low structure, something like this maybe. So drop into here and then bounce. This could be a nice first support. If you lose it, probably look for this area down there around 0.34. Why did I mark out this area actually? Oh yeah, it's the fail. Okay, fail of that daily. So that would be a very strong area if revisited. Okay, so the first area, which I like a bit more, you know, higher low, higher low, higher low. Take this. I don't love this. I mean, the wicks are not big enough in my opinion. So drop into here somewhere below 0.3692 and then bounce to the upside. That would be your first setup on ENA. If you have, by the way, any more altcoins that haven't pumped yet, you know, that haven't pumped super strongly, that would be nice to see. I mean, this one actually, you know, ENA hasn't really pumped that hard yet. Look what you have to the upside. You still have this high to take out, in my opinion. So ENA will probably come back up above this high. So that's actually a nice coin to look at. I will keep an eye on it during the week. But again, you can see these coins that haven't taken out liquidity yet, where's the quarterly? Oh, this is higher as well. Okay, that's nice to know. This is very nice to know actually on ENA. Very good coin. Very good coin. So I will definitely look at this week. So I will keep this for myself. For now, I can remove this. Boom, boom, boom. So that would be your first level. Okay, drop into it. I won't set an alert for this one. I'll just keep an eye on it. But yeah, you have this liquidity and you have the quarterly pivot that I removed. Yep, much higher. So that's nice on this coin. Still has the quarterly pivot to tap. Why am I on log scale? I don't know. Bitcoin. Okay, guys. Stay patient on Bitcoin. That's all I'm gonna say. Why am I opening this every time? What do you think about the correlation with the stock market from BTC? Well, lately it does seem that Bitcoin is somewhat decoupling from the stock market. I don't want to jump to conclusions just yet because Bitcoin has historically, and when I say historically, it's not that much history. I mean, it's since 2008, 2009, but it's always been a risk asset. So if the stock market, which personally I do have a lot of confidence in this trade, not so much a trade, let's say, on this bias on the stock market that we make a new low, if the stock market does indeed make a new low, man, what happened to me? If the stock market does indeed make a new low, will Bitcoin be able to kind of follow gold maybe? Because gold does seem to be very strong. This would be interesting to see. I cannot give you an answer on this because there's nothing technical, if you want, or even fundamentally speaking, that can get you to say that Bitcoin has now decoupled from the stock market. Because you know what? Let's add the stock market to our chart. So that would be the S&P. That would be the S&P. So look, everything is still very nicely correlated, even though on this bounce. So what happened here? The stock market still bounced to the upside. What happened is just that Bitcoin bounced harder. So that's why when I see people say that Bitcoin has decoupled, I'm not saying that's not going to happen. As I said, for now, I'm expecting higher prices because the chart looks bullish, so I don't care about the stock market. But you can see that everything is still correlated very nicely. They bottomed on the same day, they moved up together, Bitcoin just moved up more aggressively. That's it. So again, it will be interesting to see. And look, I might be wrong on the stock market as well. Maybe the low isn't for stocks and we don't move lower. So, you know, again, I don't want to jump to any conclusions. I have my support levels on Bitcoin, and what the stock market does isn't going to change my trades. That's what you have to understand at the end of the day. Apart from this, I cannot tell you anything. That would just be kind of predicting unpredictable stuff, in my opinion. That would be a bit arrogant and could mislead people into FOMO maybe or whatever, okay? I don't care if Bitcoin will decouple or not. All I can show you is that historically you can see they have been extremely well correlated, okay? Even on that bounce where everyone is now saying that Bitcoin has decoupled, the stock market has bounced. So I don't really understand this argument, okay? Now, I will say I am bearish on the stock market, but more bullish on Bitcoin. So how will this play out? We'll have to see. Maybe my bias on the stock market is wrong. Maybe my bias on Bitcoin is wrong. Or maybe everything is right and we do drop on the stock market and keep on moving up on Bitcoin. But again, at the end of the day, that's not very important to me because my levels will simply remain the same. You know, that's a fact. I have my resistance up here. We are seeing a rejection. I would like one more high. I have my support below. This support is not going to change. You get a reaction, I'm going to open a long. You lose it, I would look for lower. Very simple. So it is an interesting question that I do think about, of course, but again, I have no way of predicting what Bitcoin will do compared to the stock market. Historically, they have moved together. That's all you can say for now, okay? And also, look, this move is very, very overextended. It's getting a bit too much at this point, okay? So, bit of a rant, you know. I hope you don't mind it. ALCH. Let's see. ALCH. We don't have it on Binance. I mean, we have a perpetual. Nah. Why is it not on Binance? Okay, let's see. Wow. Okay, so you have a double top, definitely that you can look at. Okay. You have a partially filled daily as well. I would consider this one as a nice clue to kind of expect reversal. This is where ALCH could end up in the future. To the downside, well, it does look like it wants to go lower. So I have one support, that's a daily. Is it a 12-hour? It is. So one support for me on ALCH, very simple for this one. Okay. Lose it, of course, you could maybe take out that liquidity and reverse, but meh, I wouldn't really like that. I think this one looks a bit better. 0.11 pretty much, 0.11. If you can get that drop, I think this could offer a nice bounce to the upside for the fill of this daily. And then if you break above it, probably I would look for that high. We don't have a quarterly pivot for this coin, I think. Yeah, it's pretty new. Or maybe it's just new on Bybit, I don't know. But we don't have a quarterly, right? Oh, we do. And it's lower. Wow. It got tapped right there. Right there. So no quarterly to target. Do we have a monthly maybe to the upside? Let's see. One has been tapped. Yeah, they have been tapped. Okay. So no pivot, unfortunately. But double top, this is a very good liquidity area. Okay, so you drop on it. You know what? I like the look of this coin. Let me put an alert. Man, I'm gonna have so many alerts. Okay. That would be it for ALCH. Good coin. Good coin. That's a good find. Pengu. Come on. Can bounce right now. How much did it bounce already? 3%. Did we have? Almost. Okay. And by the way, look, you know, just a bit more daily, imbalance, kind of imbalance theory. Look on Kaito. I didn't trade this one. That was a bit more kind of looking at altcoins. Look, you had 2 daily imbalances. You came down to the cent on this one. You filled the daily, and then you had that massive pump higher. So when you wait for these setups, of course, they don't happen on every single coin. I mean, I just showed you Injective. I got Franchon, but when they do happen, you have a very high confidence trade, and well, it can offer you massive returns. I mean, you have very tight stop losses and very big take profits. So Bitcoin, okay, not much on Bitcoin. It looks like it doesn't want to make a new high for now, so I'll just have to wait. If you don't have any more questions, I like your ranting. Thank you, my friend. I do appreciate that. So if you have any more questions, of course, I'm open. Did I miss anything? Maybe you can tell something more about your trading journey. Uh, okay. Well, what do you want to know exactly? Because I've had an extremely long journey. So you know what? In the future, I might want to make a video on it because I think everyone's journey is very interesting in trading, especially the traders that have been in this market for a long time. I have to say I haven't been in this market for a decade yet. So that would be my first goal. I've been in here for about 8 years now. I think 8 years I've been doing this. So I mean, I've talked about my challenges before, so I don't know if I want to dive more in depth about everything right now because the stream will be a bit too long, and I don't want that honestly. So I'm being very honest here. I will probably make a video on this in the future, or maybe look, maybe I'll ask you guys in the Discord if you want a live stream to talk about this, and we'll do it. So, but definitely not for now. Definitely not. If you have any more, I mean, I've answered these. I've already answered these. You know, the struggles that I had, how I overcame them. But I guess like more in depth, you know, the dates, the blowing up the accounts, the losing money, the sleepless nights. I mean, would like a video in the future. Then okay, that would definitely be in my books. And that would be a nice video, honestly. Like, I would like to do this video for myself as well. Because I can tell you, I've had a freaking long journey in trading. Okay? And look, you know, I mean, that's just a small example, but you can see that even when you're in this market for many years, as I have, you know, the fact that I missed this trade when I had just one support level on Bitcoin. I mean, you all know this. I didn't share 5 support levels, so when you share one level and you miss it, well, I will say I have been a bit tired because my sleep has been shit, but that's not an excuse. I mean, the main reason that I've missed this trade is, to me, honestly, a lack of experience. Even though I've been in this market for years, I still have much more to learn. And to me, this trade that I've missed on Bitcoin, I mean, I had one level on Bitcoin, I had one level on XRP. To me, that is just a lack of experience. I'm being as open as I can. We had so many news. I mean, I was bullish because everyone was shorting and bearish. I mean, that's what I said inside the last live, and that's why I didn't open any short inside the Discord. So I was looking for higher, but honestly, like, these missed trades to me are just a lack of experience, and that's what I love about trading. Like, you always have more to learn, and that's a beautiful thing. I mean, in anything in life, actually, you probably always have more to learn. But again, I'm being very honest here. The main reason to me that I missed these trades is just a lack of experience. I mean, there was zero reason to me, like, for me to miss this long on XRP. I had everything I was looking for. The 30-minute, we had the imbalance, we had the reaction, we even had the second reaction if I wanted. But again, this market just had me a bit on edge because I will remind you, if anyone is new, I was in a long position and completely closed it at $94,000 because again, I was like, I was a bit on edge in this market, even though I was in a nice long position. So I have a lot to talk about, you know, when we talk about trading journey. And it will be very interesting to make a video on it, honestly. So thanks for being interested. That's all I'm gonna say. Who is your trading idols? I don't have any idols, honestly, not only in trading but in life in general. Jesus is the one that I follow, my friend. But all I'm going to say is that every single mentor that I've had in trading, I won't say that they haven't helped me, but in the end, this strategy was purely developed on my own. Like, nothing that they taught me, you know, I learned Fibonacci, I learned Elliott wave, I learned volume profiles, I learned moving averages, I learned the RSI, MACD. I learned every single thing you can think of. And my main strategy by far, I mean, you guys know this, every single support and resistance that I share is based on this, is imbalances. So I didn't find my edge until I fully traded on my own and exited. Um, you know what? I don't, I don't want to call anyone out, but all I'm gonna say is that most trading groups, most trading groups, you have a lot of arrogant people. They're not really here to help. It's a lot of bragging. It's not, I just won't really talk about it. The last thing I will say is that I was once in a group, they had like 12 different coaches and everyone said something different. And look, they were good traders, but when you have that many coaches and that many different scenarios, in the end, it was very confusing and just nothing helped me at all. So, I mean, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. You can see like it's a very simple strategy. You can see that when I go inside the Discord, I don't send 50 different messages. I mean, I send one message, which is my scenario. I draw the line. I have the support. I don't have 50 different support and 50 different resistance. I have one scenario. So I try to keep everything as simple as I can because I have had bad experiences with mentorship in the past. So, I'll try to get better as well. Like, I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I've been missing trades. Okay, sometimes I have the wrong bias, but I'm doing my best to keep everything as simple as possible because again, I've had very bad experiences. So I don't have any trading idol or just any idol in general. Okay. So, any more questions, guys? And by the way, Jean-Pierre, thank you for your questions. I do really appreciate them. So that's very nice of you. So I'll give it a couple more seconds if anyone wants me to check maybe an altcoin. That would be interesting to me as well. I am looking for more altcoins to trade. But it seems like you're all out of questions. So with that said, thank you everyone for sending questions. I hope that this live stream has been helpful. I do want to say one last thing, please. Even if price does move straight up, this is not time to FOMO into a long position, okay? All you have to do is wait for retracement, which might not come now, but that's a fact in the markets that you have to accept. If it doesn't come now, all you have to do is remain patient for the next opportunity, okay? It will come. And if you remain patient, you can size up very nicely, take a big position because you have remained patient and then get a big win. That's what I do. It's a nice strategy and overall it makes sense. Why would you look for longs at this high? Okay. So small recap, we have one resistance above us and one very interesting support below us. Personally, I would love this, move up, move down, and then a move higher. Okay guys, so one last time, thank you everyone again for your questions. I hope that you all had an amazing trading week and also a very good weekend. As usual, I will be inside the Discord doing my best to send the most accurate levels that I can. I have done a pretty good job this week on Bitcoin, but missed the trade because, as I said, it happens. So, for everyone inside the Discord, I will see you tomorrow morning. And if anyone is new here and you do want to join our Discord server, it's free and the link should be down in the description. If you don't find it, you can just open our website, crypto.com, and you will find the link right there. So, good night everyone. I hope that you all spend a lovely evening and I will see you tomorrow for a new and exciting trading week. See you everyone. Thanks again.